Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Kasino here, back with another video. You feel me? Today I'm coming at y'all with a reaction video. I'm coming at y'all with a documentary, kind of a very interesting, true story video, reaction video. Um, it's about a town called Rosewood. This town was destroyed and burnt down to the ground by people from another town, basically, or people. I don't know. I just found out about it yesterday. So it's basically back in the 1920s, when racism and all that stuff was at an all-time peak. Yeah, it's basically about uh a white lady lying about getting ate by a black man. So I guess the town rioted together and mobbed together and burnt down the town of Rosewood. I just thought this would be an interesting video to share with y'all because I didn't know. You know, I think it'll be nice for everybody to hear, some American history. So let's get right into the video. Boom, boom, boom.
really The South today is really not much different than the rest of the country. 60 years ago, Rosewood in North Florida was a thriving little community of about 200 people, almost all of them black. Early in January 1923, some 1,000 whites came to town, and when they left about a week later, Rosewood had been burned to the ground. No one knows for sure how many people were killed there. The figures might be as high as 40. For 60 years, the story of Rosewood remained secret and was only uncovered recently by Florida newspaperman Gary Moore, who is writing a book on the massacre at Rosewood. Rosewood. There's a road sign proclaiming its name, but no memorial commemorating its dead. Located 9 miles from the Gulf of Mexico at Cedar Key, Florida, Rosewood today is little more than a trailer park. You search in vain for any
It only
sign
comes
of
in
a slaughter,
360, though.
for any hint of the mass murder
So you
that
know
took
this is
place
old.
here a long time ago.
Well, what did it look like?
It's a big blaze. You seen things on fire. A big blaze, just burning down. Just burning up the whole thing. Just burning up my grandmama's house, churches, and everything. They burn up everything we had. All our clothes and everything. Yeah, they burn it up.
Why did they burn everything?
They was mad.
But you were just little children.
I know it. What did we care? They didn't care. They killed us. I was about 8 years old.
Minnie Lee Langley was
Damn,
only a
bro. Eight
child
years
when she
old?
became a refugee. Now, she's a great-grandmother. At her
That's
home
crazy.
in Jacksonville, Florida, we talked to her about the place where she was born, Rosewood, Florida, the place that haunts her memory.
I know they killed my aunt, and they killed my granddaddy. Made my granddaddy dug his hole. He didn't have but one arm, but they made him dug his own grave. And he prayed, and they shot him backwards in the grave
At Rosewood.
at Rosewood.
This is where
He said he had one arm, and they made him dig his own grave. Grave. They shot him into the grave. Well, why into the grave? You have to be a sick mother,
it all began, in the
bro.
white settlement of Sumner, just a few miles
Like,
from Rosewood.
that shit is
Sumner
wicked, bruh.
disappeared in the late
That's a true
1920s when a
story
fire
on
destroyed the
American
sawmill.
soil.
But back in 1923, Sumner was a booming little company town. James and Fannie Taylor had a home not far from here. On the morning of January 1st, 1923, James Taylor was already at work at the sawmill when neighbors said they heard his wife Fannie screaming for help. Fannie told her neighbors that a man had entered her home and
Okay, so Fanny is the white woman that lied.
attacked her, a black man.
She opened the door, but he just knocked her down, and she was raped. And,
Edith Foster was 16 years old at the time. She remembers seeing the few hundred white men of Sumner joined by others from surrounding counties, even from out of state.
She
She
lying
remembers
out
how
her
they
teeth.
grew into a mob seeking revenge.
If he hadn't ever went in on this white lady, you know, well, there'd never been nothing to it.
It's not known for
You're the ignorance, like no evidence of that statement even being true. You going with the flow.
sure
Sick. I'm
who
telling you,
attacked
wicked.
Fannie Taylor. Some whites say it was Sylvester Carrier, a
Says
young,
wicked.
strong-willed black man from Rosewood. Some blacks say the attacker was a
It's
white man.
wicked out
They
there back
say it
then, bro.
was
I would
Fannie
not want to
Taylor's
live back
boyfriend.
then. I'm not
But
gonna
a lot
lie.
of people tend to
Shout
think
out
the
my great
attacker
great
was a black
grandies and great
convict
great
who had escaped from
granddaddies.
a nearby chain gang.
All strong, bro.
Whoever he
I'm
was,
not gonna lie.
he touched off a week-long killing
This
party.
is wicked.
They just, a bad crew come in here, and they just wiped it off of the map.
That night, around about 9 o'clock or 8:30, there they come in a car.
They kept looking for this Sylvester, but they didn't seem to find him. And then they went back up there that night and to talk to his mother.
Calling for my aunt saying, Sarah, Sarah, Sarah. And so my aunt didn't say nothing because she was scared too.
And that's when all the shooting began, you see.
They went to shooting all in the house, all upstairs in the windows.
These colored folks, you know, they were ready for it.
And I was sitting right between his legs. And he had the gun over to my right shoulder.
This was Sylvester.
Yes, I got down under him, and these old white people busted door down. When they busted door down, that's where he dropped them. He just dropped everyone, come to the door.
Yo,
He shot them?
Yeah.
Well, they
it
killed
was
Mr. Andrews
busting.
before he got to the house. They loaded him with
Yeah, nigga, what is you
killed him
doing?
dead. They had to leave him there. Loaded him
What is you
with
doing?
buckshot right
Hold
here
on.
before he
What did
got
she say?
to the house. They loaded him with buckshot right here.
Oh, bruh, nigga, get back.
Killed him dead. They had to leave him there.
At least 2 white men were
Oh,
killed that
bruh.
night, forcing
Cause
the
what is
mob
you
to
doing running
retreat.
up in my
It
home?
was then that the black women and children, 12 or 13 of them, ran from the bullet-riddled Carrier home
Just
and
had
into
them
the woods.
flick.
Minnie Lee Langley, 8 years old at the time, ran with them.
We had a aunt with us, so scrappy. She was just like a hen with a nest of biddies. She taken us to the woods, kept us out in the woods. She kept us out in the woods almost a week.
There's swamps out there.
Well, we stayed in there. Took her like a soldier and stayed out there in the woods.
You went through those swamps?
Yes, we went all out in the woods. And she built a little bit of fire for us to stay warm because it was so cold at night.
In the morning, the mob returned, several hundred strong. Inside the Carrier home, they found Sarah, Sylvester's mother. She was dead. They also found another body, a black man. Some people say it was Sylvester, but no one really knows for sure. What we do know is what happened next. The mob set the Carrier home on fire, and they watched it burn. And then that mob grew in size, it grew in anger, and it became even more violent.
You ain't never seen a mob like that.
Fred Kirkland was a teenager when he saw the mob rampaging through Rosewood.
They went wild. There was 1,000 to 1,500 people there by that time, and they're coming in from every direction. And they was crazy. They give the high sheriff and the deputy 5 minutes to get out of sight and not come back.
They told the sheriff and the deputy to get out of town and not come
So
back?
get out of there.
Yo,
Give them 5 minutes to get out of sight.
And what did the sheriff and the deputy do?
They left there.
they ran the sheriff and deputy
Then
out
they
of
went to
town
burning houses,
so they
killing
can do
people.
they shit.
You never
Oh
seen
hell no.
Yeah, Sunday morning they came through here, you know, setting houses on fire. And as each one ran out, they'd shoot them, kill them. And there was a
Oh,
colored woman right here, lived just across here in the woods from me. And her name was Lexi Gordon, and she was sick. She had typhoid fever. And when she told the ones that was staying there with her for them to go ahead and get away if they could, well, she'd just take whatever come, you know. Well,
Oh
naturally, when they
man.
set the house afire, well, she ran out and ran out towards the back, and she had a back door, uh, Johnny, you know, out there, and so she made for it, and they shot her before she got there.
But she had nothing to do
Nothing
with...
to do with it at all, whatever. And
So sick,
well, it was the
bro.
way with a lot of them. You see, that's the reason it was such a situation that we just couldn't understand. It was just a mad bunch of men come in here.
What do you think they got out of it? Why did they do it?
Motive, I guess. Satisfaction is all I can figure it
You
out.
know
I
why.
don't know what it was.
Nigga, you know why.
Satisfaction.
I reckon that was it.
Well, the whole place was in smoke around here, you know. They
Exactly.
said they had destroyed
Satisfaction.
all
That
the
is
buildings.
crazy.
And said that there would be no more to live here no more, you know. They couldn't
People
come
that
back
didn't
and
even have
live.
to do with it.
Miss Langley,
Nobody had to deal
would
with
you
it.
go
Do with
back
it.
to Rosewood with us?
I would go.
None of them
I would
folks
go
had to
if
do
y'all
with it.
don't let them bother me or nothing like that. I don't want to
Just
go there
some
and get
bullies,
hurt or
bro. Just
nothing.
some bullies.
Yeah,
You remember?
I do remember.
Hello,
Bloodthirsty
darling.
bullies. That shit
We
crazy.
brought Minnie Lee Langley back to Rosewood for the first time in 60 years. We also asked Lee Ruth Davis, Leroy Carrier, and Sam Hall, all survivors of Rosewood, to come back for a day.
Oh, hello, Sammy.
Hey,
Oh,
remember her, Mr. Hall?
Yeah. Oh, she looked at that. Just for this Marcy.
Yeah. Oh, Lord, yeah. This is Marcy.
they
Was
say
that
she
they
look
used to
the
call you?
same.
That's what they call me,
Black
Marcy
don't
Marcy.
crack, y'all. Black
like
don't
West
crack.
Virginia. Your
Yeah,
mama.
my mother.
Yeah.
I'm bringing back memory that I wished I could get rid of. You know what I mean? This has been a hobby. If you just had been here to listen to all this and see some of it, then you would have known just what it was. We lost everything.
Lost
Damn.
everything.
You own the
You can
land.
hear the
Yeah,
soul in
we
her
own
voice,
our
man.
land, all of them.
And no one ever paid you any money for this land.
No,
You just lost it.
took it.
What do you
Took it.
say to children today? Children like this boy, like your great-grandson, and people who didn't grow up when you grew up, and people who didn't go through what you went through, people who would say, this couldn't have happened in this country. Come on.
I would tell them like
Crazy.
this. I said, don't ever stay in a place that white folks can surround it. Don't never stay in a place that white folks can surround it. Because if anything happens some ways else, they'll run you out from your home, just like they did us.
Not many whites lived in Rosewood at that time, really just a handful. Among the few who did live here was a man by the name of John Wright, who owned the general store. John Wright lived in this house. It's one of the few that has survived. To blacks in Rosewood, John Wright was a hero. He opened his home to many of the women and children who were hiding from that mob.
Okay.
And John Wright did even more. He was able to get a message to the railroad that said, the town is on fire, send a train. And that's how many blacks escaped from Rosewood, by train.
This is what I was wondering. I'm like, so how did they survive? You feel me? How did people that were just there, how did they survive? How did
Who was on
they
the
answer
train?
my
You were on the
question?
train?
I was on the train. I'll never forget it. It was night when when the train come there. It was 4 o'clock. When we left Mr.
4
Wright,
o'clock in the morning?
that's right. And he told them, conductor, to pull the train on to stop anywhere on the road that he saw women's and children, but not men's, because they didn't know who the men would be.
If it hadn't been for this house.
We wouldn't
Take
have
the
been here,
risk.
because we wouldn't have had nowhere to hide.
Rosewood. You won't find an accurate account of it in any history book. Yet, about 40 people were killed here one terrifying week 60 years ago. When you think about it, far greater atrocities have happened elsewhere in the world. But Rosewood belongs to America. It's a real American horror story. The wonder is that it stayed secret so long. Minnie Lee Langley never even told her family.
I didn't want them to know that I was scouting through the woods to stay out there all night long, out there in that cold and all that stuff. I didn't
Running
want
for
them
your life?
running, trying to save my life. I didn't want them to know just how I come along, through all of this and what the white folks had did to us, because I thought it was really mean. What they did to us was mean, and did it without a cause.
Really,
Wraps up the video, y'all. That is crazy, yo. Very, very video. Dude, that shit is wicked what they did to them families in Rosewood, man. But I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I hope it was a good history lesson for y'all. Um I learned a lot, man, cuz I never knew about that story, dude. I mean, I just learned about it yesterday, but I didn't know the full details, man. So yeah, that's very important to know on in American history that happened, bro. They just try to cover it up like that, man. Because if you go back, like they said, if you go back to that town, it's just covered with trees now. No evidence of a burnt city. So yeah. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope I entertained y'all. I hope you guys are at peace. You feel me? You guys are treating your families right, yourself right. Yeah, I'll see y'all in the next video. Later.